Did we mention that you guys actually are beekeepers yet? Currently, our beehive is closed for business. The bees actually absconded a couple
Couple
years
years.
now. Basically, they grew too big for the hive space that we gave them.
So yeah, we went from hobbyist beekeepers for 4 or 5 years, and that's where we learned a lot of bee science and became so amazed at their structure and how they're like a super organism. And I'd go to parties or get-togethers and just nerd out over bees, and she'd be like, "John, stop! Like here."
But it was really great because we harvested over 100 pounds of honey. Like, we really were hands-on.
Yeah.
You know, we wore the beekeeper suit. We would go in and like do the smoker. Taught us a great appreciation for bees, and that was definitely what inspired this story. And especially because environmental concerns, populations were dying at the time, and I think they're still, in danger. And now renewed concern with the environment and data centers and things like that. And I think the concerns about the environment really never went away. And I think it's even more now than when I first wrote the book.
Do you remember the moment when you actually thought of the idea for this book?
It happened over time. So 3B Honey, the 3B celebrity sisters, the little pop band that they were known to be, started off as background characters. They were like the celebrities in my first graphic novel attempt about a little snail who tries to start a band. We pitched that. We tried getting that published. Didn't work out. But Desi was looking through it and said, I really like these bee characters. Can I make something out of this? And I was like, yeah, sure.
I just wrote a chapter, and it was actually prose. It wasn't graphic novel. I didn't think it was going to be a graphic novel at the time. It was more like, I'm going to write a prose book and maybe have spot illustrations. And then I wrote the first chapter, starting the story with Claire, and she was always like the catalyst. And then eventually meeting her two best friends who end up joining forces with her. I showed it to John, and I was like, what do you think? And it was, still pretty rough and evolving. And he, this is actually pretty cool. I think it has potential. Keep going. So I did. And over the course of probably 9 months, I finished a first draft. And then from that point, it was like, oh, wow, this is like really fun. And it became this epic adventure, and it kept expanding and evolving. I completely rewrote it a few times just to try to get that voice just right. And then over time, I realized this would make a great graphic novel, and started pitching it like that. And then he started drawing pages and went from there. So it was years of work.